I need to ask you a question.
Be curious, Drifters.
Allegron's won the Brisbane Cup, but it's all Antino. Blake Shin, take a bow. Barraquil, Benny Allen hasn't moved.
Broadside him, bogged, won the Golden Rose.
Pride of Jenny, trying to find the reserves at the 100. She's 3 in front of Mr. Brightside. It's all too late. Pride of Jenny has run them into the night. Switzerland, the big winner by 2.5 Bellatrix Star.
He's down, Jolly Star. She is a star in the making. Jolly Star bolts in.
It's all Isthmus. She's very smart and fast.
Well, it rained out on Sunday, so no reviews done.
No reviews on a Sunday, but there wasn't much to review, was there?
Aussie Cup.
Aussie Cup. Aussie Kears, Aussie Cup.
Was Light Infantry Man.
Light Infantry Man.
He was good.
He was good. He was really good.
He brained him.
Yeah, he really did.
I always thought that Kingston Town form would hold up. Northerly? Whatever
Northerly.
they call it.
Yes. But he was running well all prep, Light Infantry Man. The longest lead time from an acclimatisation perspective. Bro, he just didn't like the Aussie conditions for a long time.
Took forever.
Took such a long time.
Actually, I don't blame him. I do blame him because where else would you rather be?
Where else would you rather be? Absolutely, but who else is to blame?
Him.
Him.
2-time Group 1 winner in Australia. I'm assuming he might have won one over there too.
I don't think he won a Group 1 over there, but I think he was racing in some elite races. Because remember, I backed him in a Golden Eagle. Silly boy. Silly. But, you know, the form's finally stood up. Have I backed him since then? No. So he was at a good price. He ran super. He clearly thrived off the... They went really fast. He really thrived off the fast pressure at the start of the race.
Not many predicted that with Pride of Jenny and Deny Knowledge going forward.
Yeah.
Or Deny Knowledge, actually.
Yeah, she missed
it.
She missed the jump.
She ran out of her skin, actually.
I think it's probably the best run of her career.
Yeah.
And she ran second. Who ran third and fourth? Zardozi and a tissue.
Yeah.
Zardozi was good. I don't know why she wasn't in the Tancred.
Was she most picked in the Group 1?
I think Pride of Jenny was. And then Zardozi maybe.
Come on.
Pride of Jenny stunk to me. But Zardozi in that Tancred, I'm not saying she beats Dubai Honor, but she gets a wet deck and she gets 2,400 metres. Like, do you think that was the better option in hindsight?
Yeah. I just think Melbourne Cups can ruin horses.
They can, yeah.
And I think not necessarily saying that she's ruined by any state of play, but I just don't think she's as good as we kind of thought she was. And off the back of a Melbourne Cup prep, you pretty much put a line through the autumn for a lot of them. That's my view.
No, it's so fair. Zardozi for mine is... I think that very well could have been the best run of her career in the Aussie Cup, but that's also where she's at. In weight for age, she can run into the placings, which was good enough to beat her own age and own sex as a 3-year-old, and is good enough to run well in handicap races. I think that is the upper limit of Zardozi, and there is nothing wrong with that.
No, and she's also a 4-year-old mare.
She's a 4-year-old mare.
She'll thrive when she gets out to 5, hopefully. So, yeah, we'll see how she goes, but all honours the winner. Then we had... I'm just looking at... the comparisons I'm making are Duke de Sessa, who, you know, won a Caulfield Cup, then went to a Champions Stakes, and they tipped him out, won first up, ran super second, behind Middle Earth in the Australia Cup Prelude. And then I thought he was the winner in the Tancred, but Dubai Honor, just all honours.
All honours, Dubai Honor. He just had superior form.
Yeah.
Wet deck, 2,400 metres, proven in Sydney before.
Market spat him out.
A little bit, yeah.
Went from about 350 to about 450.
Yeah. Then got jammed in again. He actually jumped favourite with the good people at Ned's.
Interesting.
They came for Vauban massively.
Huge.
Massively.
Because his parade was different. He was looking after himself. I don't necessarily think that's a good thing. If you're a nutcase, I want to see you jump around and buck around.
Think about it.
Exactly.
Think about it. It was a nutter. He was a nutcase every single time that he won in the mounting yard. But yeah, Duval, I know he'll be very, very competitive in a Queen Elizabeth, obviously. I thought the Duke was fantastic.
Doing up front, doing the hard stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Big Duke.
I think he gains a couple lengths on a wet dick.
Another one. Don't we all? Another one that has taken an age to acclimatise here as well. But he's so consistent now. And any cut out, big tick for him.
Yep.
Vauban was fine. I think, this apparently, according to the stable, was the target. The grand final.
Interesting. The Vauban came out wide, and I think he probably wanted to be close to the fence. So I think he ran on well. And Tommy Marquand, Aussie Tom, his ride on Dubai was so good because he must have known that the lanes closer to the rail were obviously superior. So he ducks back in, gets the break at the right time. A little bit of luck, but ultimately the horse was too good. So I thought Vauban's run was really good. Arapahoe's been consistent. Was there any bombs in the race, in the Tancred?
Warmonger, beaten 9 lengths.
Yeah. I thought he would have run better than that despite his price.
He's picks and chooses when he wants to put in Warmonger.
He does.
Does he have his nuts? He doesn't. That's a concern.
Can't geld him twice.
You know what he needs? He needs a trial or some work over the jumps just to focus him up a bit. Say, hey, mate, you're doing it our way.
Yeah, really well said. He's heading towards the Sydney Cup. Yeah, see how he goes there, I guess.
Yeah, like Circle of Fire, last year's winner, beaten 3.5, probably his best run since the Sydney Cup. Probably looking a bit better. He won it last year, didn't he?
Circle of Fire, yes.
Yeah. I thought I was going insane for a second there.
No.
Thought I was just making stuff up in my brain.
Not at all.
And then obviously Treasure the Moment, just, too good sort of stuff.
Too good. You mentioned to me that you don't think she liked going through that ground.
Nah.
She hated it.
Yeah.
She hated it.
The ground was, by that stage, a soft 7. But it was a sloppy 7.
I think it was a sloppy 7.
It was an improved, sure, there was, sunshine around, but that thing had gotten pounded by rain for days.
Yep. It definitely did. No, she's very, very good. And for mine, Matt Laurie's already talking about the fact that Cox Plate is this horse's race, and I completely agree. She's not bulletproof at all, but what I like most about her is she puts herself into the race every single time. She's tactically versatile and so tractable. You can just see Damo, Frosty, just gives her a little bit of a go, and then she starts to go.
You're like, yeah, I know, mate.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, and that's the best ones.
So professional.
Yeah.
Knows what she's doing. Yeah, bulletproof. Bendigo ran a good race.
Yeah.
I gave her some sort of 1x3 sort of play, and she jumped at $12. So then DeClichy Boulevard loomed up like she was just going to go straight past. And then she does what DeClichy Boulevard does.
Yeah.
Just goes like, nah, not for me, actually.
Typical deck behaviour.
Yeah.
I thought Verona Rose came home really nicely. So she'll be a handy filly for the Oaks, but does Treasure the Moment have a mortgage on it?
Well, some of the acceptances this week, end of racing, has made me just question everything, namely in the Australian Derby. But before we get to that, last thing that we'll talk about the weekend just gone. What was your thoughts about Rosehill getting rained out on the Saturday?
I was under the impression that the stewards were there the day before and the morning of, and they inspected the track, and they just must have thought to themselves, if we get 1 or 2 races on this thing with another even 10 mils, there's no way we're going to get through the card. So let's just call it off. Were they being conservative in that call? Potentially, but at the same, you can't predict the future. They probably did what they thought was within the best interests of the horses and the connections. That's what I think. Would I have loved to have seen racing on Saturday? Yes, of course. Like, that's my preference. But you can't always get what you want.
No.
What do you reckon?
I thought some of the opinions on Twitter were so ridiculous. Like tinfoil hat sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas I sort of saw a video of, it was Australian Bloodstock, I believe.
I did see that video, yeah.
And the amount that their feet were going into the track, I'm like, there's no way they could have raced on that.
No.
For a 600-kilo animal running on that. Are you kidding?
No.
Like, no. It's like the fact that there was some conspiracy theorists theorising that the calling off of the program was something to deal with the sale of Rose Hill, which is completely and utterly ridiculous because they would never give up Saturday trade.
No, they would never.
Ever.
No.
If they've proven that in the past racing New South Wales.
Yeah.
They've raced some of their programs, I believe, would be probably some of the championships sometimes in the past.
Remember they got a chopper?
Yeah.
They got a chopper for the champs.
Yeah.
No, it's,
They'd never do it.
absurd take. Oh, I saw some other people suggesting, and people are entitled to their opinions, might I add. Some of them are just ridiculous, though. I saw some people suggesting, why don't we just push this meeting back to the Friday night and have, Friday night racing and then have day one of the champs to be an absolute smorgasbord. It's like, on what planet are you living on?
No.
A lot of these horses are either going to back up on the weekend or you're therefore forcing a lot of them to have a 1 week back up into day two of the champs. Like, what sort of delusion are you talking about?
Yeah. Like,
What
where
are
are
you
you going to
talking
run
about?
that at Hawkesbury? Like,
Yeah.
or Canterbury? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what are you talking about?
And like people just bandying just absolute absurdities out there. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Like pushing back the entire program a week, and it's like
They've done that in the past, though.
they have done that. But like
But that was when there was like a tsunami of rain every single week. It's like, we're fucked either way here.
exactly.
We've had it pretty good.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like, just trust them.
It was only a few years ago in 2022 where they had to move the meeting to Newcastle on like a Tuesday or a Wednesday or something like that. The exact same meeting.
Yeah.
And that was when Fangirl won the Vinery over 1,800 metres and Jewess won the Tancred over 2,200 metres.
Yeah.
Like,
Chill, bruh.
exactly, chill.
Just chill. Like,
There's precedence.
there's been a bit of action on Rose Hill. Like, that probably would. I'm not a track manager, but I'm assuming all the traffic that they've had on there would obviously contribute to it as well.
Absolutely.
If they were racing at Randwick, probably a different story.
Yeah. I think they'd honestly, they'd just be stoked that slipper days had been and gone.
Yeah.
Like the Tancred
Perfect weather.
the Tancred and the Oaks and the Vinery, sorry, it's like great races, but ultimately,
Let's get on to the champs.
yeah, let's go.
Speaking of championships, day one, rail is in the true. Now, the track is currently rated a heavy 8, but the rain's done.
Yeah, I'm thinking we're playing on a juicy good 4 or a soft 5.
That's where I've kind of landed as well. I think there'll be genuine give. Like, it won't be a good 3 come Saturday.
I think it's going to suit every single horse.
Yes. Every horse should have their chance, I believe.
Yep.
And it's a bit cooler. I think it's 23 degrees on Saturday, which has this summer just never ended?
I was saying to someone at work, like, in Brizzy at least, I feel like it's just been either pissing down rain or it's been muggy and hot.
Which is very uncharacteristic.
But it's just been consistent for the entire year. There's been no steady decline of temperature. I'm sick of it.
Usually from April 1st, it is blue skies and 20 degrees.
Furious.
Like the best sort weather of the year sort of stuff.
Best weather you could possibly get on planet Earth type of stuff.
We need that now. We demand it.
Sick of it.
You listening, Mother Nature? All right, let's get through Randwick. Let's do it. So race 1 is the Kindergarten Stakes, Group 3, 1,100 metres for the 2-year-olds at set weights. Did you have any opinions for this one?
Well, you know I'm a sucker for these silks. Number 6, Best Car. In the Jonathan Munn's Pinecliff Racing silks, red and white stripes. Fantastic debut in Geelong before Christmas. They thought they were going to bring this horse back for a Blue Diamond, but wanted to give it a longer spell, just let it furnish out a little bit. This Schnitzel Colt, the Freedman stable, I feel, in Sydney is going pretty well. Like, I haven't seen any statistics, but just gut feel is telling me they're going well.
They go well anywhere.
They do go well. Trial was fantastic. J-Mac was on in that trial, so clearly they've got a really high opinion of this horse. Don't lose too much with Benny Mellon going on. I thought $6 with Neds, I'm going to be with Best Car. And this is a smart horses race, the Kindergarten Stakes. Bivouacs won this race. Paul Ailey's won this race. You know, so the 2-year-olds who are good but just miss out on the slipper.
Okay. Interesting. I thought North England was pretty good in the slipper.
Oh, yeah, he was.
Like, all things considered, 1 run short going into the slipper. By my calculations, this is 1 run later. So I reckon he might just control this from the front and go bang. See you, brah. I think North England, I think he would be starting favourite in this. I think he will be awfully hard to beat.
Do you have any concern with him going from the 12 back to the 11?
Nah, I think he's speedy anyway.
Speedy.
Yeah. I think that suits him better, possibly.
Yeah, could.
Yeah.
He could.
I don't know. We'll figure it out. Now, I thought there was the most ridiculously named horse of all time that I've ever seen in the 5 years that we've been doing this podcast in the next race, the Adrian Knox. Race 2, 2,000 metres for the 3-year-old fillies. Number 5, Yu Wang. What?
You Wang?
I cannot believe my eyes here.
I can sort of get why I got through, though. It's a So You Think filly with the dam being Wangwa. Like, I understand why I got through, but that's a name that, like, you or I would put forward for a laugh. Like, imagine if this got through.
For a specific, like, conglomerate.
Yeah, exactly. and surely you can put 2 and 2 together, drifters. You Wang. I hope it wins. Just because I want
to see what I want to see what Darren does with it.
Darren does with it.
Wait, 11-1 with the good people in there. It's not the worst. Not the worst.
No, not the worst. There's 2 in this race that I want to talk about. The first one is number 11, Miss Alexis, the daughter of Jamaica, by Done Deal. Really liked her maiden win Sandown a couple of weeks ago. They were walking up front and she came absolutely charging home. So she's one to keep an eye out for in the future, I think. I think first prep, this might be just a little bit too soon for her, but she's $17 with Ned's. Like, what more do you want from me?
What do you want?
In those silks, Jamaica's her mum. She'll appreciate getting out over the trip. But the horse I'm going to bet on properly is number 9, Polymnia. Absolutely brained them to break her maiden last start in Hawkesbury. Smashed the clock as well, stepping up 2,000 metres, no issues. Has Zachy Lloyd, has a bit of weight relief from the toppies, like the Inevitable Truths and the Dominators of the world. So yeah, Polymnia for me. I feel like that stable's starting to hit their straps.
And that stable is?
Johnny O'Shea.
They are.
And Tom Charlton, is it?
Yes, they have the favourite in the Doncaster.
They do.
Who would turn the egg on our face into a full-blown omelette.
Yeah.
Like eggs Benny. Like, if he was to win this, holy shit. Inevitable Truth for me. D-Day for her, I feel. Even though she is 11-1. But still maiden. Finished second 4 times. But she, as she does, hits the line extremely strong. But I think her form suggests that she will appreciate some giving the ground. So I think with the conditions that she'll see on the weekend, out to 2,000 metres, I think that sets up quite nicely for her. So I'm happy to give her one more go, I feel. Race 3 is the Chairman's Quality, 2,600 metres Group 2 handicap. Alal Kance at $2.80. Does that scream bet to you?
I think she's going to be pretty hard to beat.
Well, she brained him last
She
start.
brained him. Smashed the clock.
It kept going away from him.
Yeah, and I feel like these races just they lack a natural leader quite often, and And she's going to be doing the donkey work for her entire career, but it almost like she thrives on it. And the faster that they go, she can absorb a lot of pressure. She's going to be hard to beat. I think one of her major rivals, though, is number 1, Desert Hero, in His Majesty the King Silks, Willie Haggis, Ryan Moore. Been a bit out of form over the last sort of 6 months, but prior to that was racing in Group 1s and Group 2s and Group 3s, so group racing in the Northern Hemisphere, which would you say that stacks up pretty well here?
Typically that translates. His last 3 runs have zero confidence.
Big question marks, but maybe the trip's going to do him a world of good.
$6. Ryan Moore on Willie Haggis in the Kings colours. Combined losing margin of 45 lengths at his last 3 starts.
Yeah, so he needs to turn his form around massively. But I think if he's one that you're keen on, if there's a late push for him, and if he drifts out to $7 or $8 and then comes right back in before the jump, he's ready to go. But Allo Cairns could just be one of those just
freaks.
Yeah, and also just a super obvious.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm kind of going between a couple, but Desert Hero, I see. Last time he was out to about a year ago on the 18th of May 2024. Actually started $2 favourite against Middle Earth. Got beaten 8 lengths that day. So that's the sort of horse that he's been going up against. Interesting. Barrier 14 as well. Difficult.
Has he been gelded at all since last prep?
Unsure.
Unsure? That might explain stuff, but anyway.
LL Cairns is the obvious, but tell you what, I thought Athabascan's come back pretty well. Gets a 3 kilo swing on LL Cairns here as well. His form does suggest that he will appreciate any cut in the ground too. If it is a soft deck, that could only enhance his chances, I feel. Barrier 12 is a bit sticky, but he's been proven to carry weight as well, Athabascan. So, and he pops up once a prep and puts his nose out in front. So, but we'll see. LL Cairns might just be the obvious. The Carbine Club Stakes, 1,600 metres, Group 3, set weights and penalties. Now, Swift Falcon, I believe, is second emergency in the Donny. Goes up $1.90 here. Do you want to trust him?
That is short, but at the same time, I'd give him an enormous chance in the Doncaster. So based on that logic, who's he got to beat here? He's got to beat Evaporate is his main danger. I don't really rate Evaporate that highly, but I've got an opinion of Swift Falcon. Swift Falcon also might be a little bit of a can run on a bit horse. So it's not D-Day for him, but if he's going to be a weight for age horse once he turns 4, he needs to be winning a race like this. Swift Falcon. That's my opinion.
Evaporate only beaten less than 2 lengths in the Futurity behind Mr. B, Kitty Cat Tom. That form stood up.
Yep, true.
So not the worst. True. Not the worst, but yeah, I agree with Swift Falcon. I think I'd be backing him in a Donny if he makes the field, which I seriously doubt.
Which is a shame because there's some donkeys ahead of him.
Yeah. Yeah. Swift Falcon is just the obvious, I think. Let's skip the championship final, unless you had one.
No, I was just going to point out it's funny that the first, second, third, fourth emergency in that race, number 20, Light Infantry, and is the reason why they had to change Light Infantry Man's name to Light Infantry Man, because it was originally Light Infantry. Isn't that funny?
Stable change, because I believe Bjorn was...
Yes, Bjorn had it originally.
Yeah. So he doesn't keep them all.
No, he doesn't.
No. If they don't race in Derby colours, why do you bother?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So true.
Yeah. Now, the English Sires is race 6 for the 2-year-olds at set weights over 1,400 metres. First Group 1 that we are covering. Wotan, $2.70 favourite. Vinrock at $4.60. Rivellino at 420 with Hong Kong Huey flying in as well. My guy Buffalo with Zach Purton on is interesting.
That is fascinating.
Yeah.
Huge booking.
Yeah. Well, did you see his last start at Newcastle?
Oh, yeah.
Needed every inch of the straight to
Yeah.
get him. I think he needs this and further.
Yeah.
Buffalo. The son.
He's a big horse, too.
He is. Yeah.
I like him.
Nice big chestnut. Looks like he's covered in buffalo sauce. But yeah, where'd you land here? It's a little tricky little affair.
It is, yeah. The smartest thing to do is to pick something that ran well in the slipper, because history would suggest that's the right thing to do. Like, even if you look at the last 5 editions, like Militarize ran in a slipper, finds a wet deck, wins this. Fireburn obviously won the slipper. Animo ran super in a slipper, wins this. Hence why I'm wearing the hat today. King's Legacy, Microphone, just to go back to 2019, all ran in a slipper. Some better than others, but so you're looking at that race typically as a form reference. But I really like Vinrock's win in the Sires in Flemington a few weeks ago. He's a month between runs, but he had a really good trial the other day. Matt Laurie just might have 2 really good ones at the moment. This was always the grand final for him. Gate 1's perfect, and he makes his own luck up on speed, and he's got Mark. Gets Mark on. So I like Vinrock for a bit of an alternate form line, but I'm certainly not against the slipper form. Rivellino was my slipper horse. If he jumps better here, he could just be closer, and he's got a sharp sprint, and he could put him away. And what I like about Rivellino as well in this race is he's a too darn hot colt. Too darn hot is broadsiding sire, and he can spit out one that can certainly get a distance. Then he's out of a So You Think Damn. So the 1,400 metres, he's going to eat it up, and it might just be the key to him. He might be a horse who's looking for further. So they're the 2 for me. Woden will run well, and I thought Buffalo absolutely was a huge chance at good odds, and same with State Visit. But yeah, the market's got it right. I think people are going to truckload into Woden, but I'm gonna stick with Vinrock.
I had a look at Vinrock's times from Flemington that day, because he led. He was the only. No, he wasn't. He was one of 3 that basically led and won that day. So
Sometimes it can be really hard to lead at Flemington.
yeah. I think it's a good. And those 2 might have been 2-year-old races. The first couple, which, that's an absolute lottery.
Yeah.
And they were down the straight, so the straight, I feel it's harder to make up ground sometimes. It's beneficial.
Yeah.
But then they can come from anywhere. Anyway, you know what I mean.
I know what you mean.
One other 1,400 metre race on the day, that was Is It Me, who absolutely brained him that day.
Smash the clock.
Yeah. So they ran on overall times 7.5 lengths slower.
Yeah.
And I think, so not necessarily an absolute gut buster for him, and the 4 weeks between runs is fascinating. I'm fascinated to see how he measures up to these. $4.60 suggests that he'll run really well.
Yeah, I think he will.
That's probably half the price I expected him to be.
I expected him to be second in line of betting with Rivellino behind Woden, which turns out to be the case roughly. Like, he apparently smashed the clock on debut, went to the front and put him away. Mark Zara's comments as well when he won at Flemington was he'd been doing work for Matt Laurie on this horse, before he even debuted, and was like, this is one of the better 2-year-olds I've ever sat on. Matt Laurie always had a circle around this race, so I think he's had a plan. He's stuck to it. This isn't an afterthought. It's a grand final for him. He might not measure up to the Golden Slipper horses at all. He might not, but I think that size race down in Melbourne is just increasing in quality each year. Like the Traffic Warden won it last year. Can't think of any others. Come off the top of my head, but yeah, I like him. I like him for this.
I like it. Rivellino on top for me. Thought he was very unlucky in the slipper.
He was.
Yeah, but I think what the biggest thing in his favour is he's going from a field of 16 to a field of 10. That is significant.
Yep.
And Hugh is more patient than most. So I think he can get the job done.
Yep.
All right, the TJ Smith is race 7, 1,200 metres, Group 1 weight for age. This is easily the worst edition that we've seen of this race, surely.
Yeah. Would have to be.
Does it stink of a result to you?
Potentially because I'm concerned about the race shape. The only one that I know will go forward is Overpass. And IME likes to be prominent. And then Magic Time from that draw, you'd think. But none of them, aside from Overpass, are natural leaders. And then what that creates is a sit and sprint, which actually doesn't suit a lot of sprinters. They want a fast run race to show their best qualities. And I'm starting to think that Switzerland's best ever run in the Coolmore. Remember when Huey went out super quick on who was the horse? Bodyguard. And the start of the race was absolutely dynamite. And Switzerland actually jumped super. And then J-Mac dragged him back. And then he sprinted over the top of him at the end. And I'm also looking at his win in Sydney, the race prior to his Coolmore run, where I think Nash was on and took him on the inside. I went back and watched that race, and the early sectionals were fast as well. And I'm thinking that Switzerland, to be at his best, needs a fast run race. And he also, this prep, had the 1,000 metres Lightning, up to 1,300 metres into Canterbury. Never going to suit him. But then he finds a TJ 1,200 metre race where there just doesn't seem to be a lot of pace. I think if you look at Jolly Star's first up run as well, it was a sit and sprint, and she didn't like it. And I'm worried that if she gets this here again, she's not going to be able to show how good of an athlete that she actually is. In the Newmarket, there was plenty of pace. So it does stink of a result for that reason for me, because these sit and sprint races sometimes it can throw up a bit of a
Chain of Lightning won it last year.
Yeah, exactly. And then that was a sit and sprint. It might, to be honest, it could play into Overpass's hands the most. I mean, he won on Everest Day, and everyone was like, well, if he was in the Everest, he might not have won, but gee whiz, he would have been very close.
On raw times, he would have beaten the Everest field.
Yeah. And he's the only one who's going to lead here. He wouldn't shock me at all, Overpass. He flies fresh.
He wins this race. Overpass.
Yeah.
He's the class sprinter here, in my opinion.
He's proven.
Sure, it's not in Perth, but it's first up. And I think the stable, God bless them, have finally got it right. For one of the big Eastern Seaboard sprints, they've got him here in the right setup at the right time.
Yep. Trialled well.
Trialled very well. He always does. But they've just learnt their lesson with this horse.
Yep.
Get him to his grand final first up, and he'll put in an absolute bottler for you. $6.50, he'll run top 3.
He didn't open at $6.50. Yeah. There's no obvious leader. I think Jolly Star for mine and Switzerland, their best performance wins this race. I just don't know if I'm going to get that, but Switzerland's $15. He gets Ryan Moore, he gets a nice gate, and he gets Chris Waller just sprinkling some magic dust as he does in a race like this. So $15 for me is enticing, even though I've just basically talked about the fact that he needs a truly run race, and I don't think he's going to get that here. But I might have to have a bet at that price. I think Sunshine in Paris can win, and she's $9. That's a big price.
Huge price for
the hole in the market. Why is Briasa $4.50?
Yeah, I don't know. I think actually it would be because the perceived bias on Slipper Day, he was the only one to really zoom home down the outside, I reckon.
Yeah, I understand that, but the start prior to that, he won a hunter in Newcastle carrying only 53 kilos. The start before that, he ran on the Kenzo in a benchmark 88. and he's $4.50 in this field.
Compared to Sunshine in Paris, who ran super, like one of the best wins you'd ever see
Yeah.
in the Champions Sprint. Jolly Star won in Newmarket.
Started just about favourite in Everest.
Mm.
Magic Time, who runs super every time she goes around.
Like I was looking at Traffic Warden's price at $27, and it's like, okay, he's had some setbacks, sure, and he got scratched at the gates on Everest Day, but the Everest is the pinnacle sprint race we have. He was single figures that day.
Yeah.
So if you're a Traffic Warden fan like me, I think he's a sensational price if you want to have one. Have one at a bigger price.
Yeah.
There is value to be had in this race.
Absolutely. Briasa could come out here and win.
Not at that price.
But
for us.
for me, at that price, it should be in the teens for mine. I was disappointed to hear that Private Harry was spelling and is going to the Everest, because I think he would have won this race. Because he puts himself up on speed. Nathan Doyle said he was underdone for the Galaxy win, and in that Galaxy run, he was leading and just fought him off as well. Yeah, under pressure, fought him off.
Sitting duck. Quack, quack.
I think he would have won this race. But alas, he's not here. Jimmy Starr, interesting. Probably wanted more of a gap between runs.
Sydney leg as well.
Sydney leg, but he wouldn't shock. Komochi wouldn't shock.
Oh, she's an enormous price, that thing.
How is she $27 and Briasa is $4.50?
I don't get it. Like, you have Kai Mochi's a Group 1 winner. Switzerland's a Group 1 winner. Traffic Warden nearly won a Group 1.
Geez, a lot can change in 12 months. He nearly won a bloody produce for you 12 months ago.
I know.
Size produce.
I'm Me's run. She's a Group 2 winner, isn't she? 2-time Group 2 winner. Magic Time has won Group 1s. Jolly Star's won Group 1s. Sunshine in Paris has won a Group 1. Like, what am I missing here? Brias is a stupid price.
Stupid price. All that said and done, Switzerland and Jolly Star are the ones for me. Jolly Star, she can put it in an average one, but her best wins this race. She's short enough, and Switzerland, like, I don't think I can let him go around at $15 in this race. I never liked the Canterbury Stakes for him. Forgive the lightning, weird deck, didn't like it. Jump up to 1,300 metres from 1,000, wait for age. And then now he comes back to 1,200 metres. With a nice gate, if there's at least an average tempo, he'll go well. My concern is that there won't be an average tempo.
Only one horse has won subsequently from that Coolmore.
Yeah. Look, Lady of Camelot, pretty hard done by. And who's the thing that ran second? It's injured.
She is.
Bellatrix Star.
Yeah.
Growing Empire.
Disappointing.
God knows what's going on with that horse.
Gatsby's ran 5th there. He's dross. The class was the top 4.
Yeah.
And the thing is like one of the other ones would have won a race. You know?
Yeah.
So it's like, Enriched it would have been.
Yeah.
Who ran second last. And he won he nearly knocked off Autumn Glow.
Yep.
He didn't nearly knock her off, but he ran second to Autumn Glow. He's in some good form. But maybe it's an average edition, but he also beat that field by 3 lengths. So he's a different class, is what I'm trying to say. Difficult. I could see a number of these winning. Sunshine in Paris is a big price.
She's a massive price, mate. She'll get the right deck.
She was 1,300 first up as well. Like, that was probably a bit too ambitious.
She ran well. She was held up.
Yeah. And it took her an age to, like, really wind up, and she was only beaten 1.5. And others were better suited there. So, and 4 weeks between runs is up her alley because she runs so well fresh. So well. But yeah.
She can win.
She definitely can. All right. The Doncaster Mile, 1,600 metre handicap. I think this is a better addition than what we've had in previous years.
It's a fantastic addition.
Yeah.
Really, really good addition.
And I reckon it's the last 3 or 4 have been a bit,
Yep.
be it the Epsom or the Doncaster.
Yeah. Yep.
Even though we found winners in that time.
Of course we have. That's what we do.
You found the winner last year.
I did. Just mention that 12 months is a long time in racing, isn't it?
Unfortunately.
So picked the winner last year and he finds himself back in this race, Celestial Legend, and he's $46.
Could he do it? I noticed that Hugh couldn't get down to 54, but I was like, oh, interesting.
No, I don't think he can do it. But no, this is a fantastic addition. I think the George Ryder it's generally a really good form line for this race, right? Mm-hmm. Weight for age, 1,500 metres. Step up to the handicap over a mile. For me, personally, I think this is going to be a race where it's dominated by the top weights.
Yeah.
Because we've got some genuine weight for age Group 1 horses here who aren't that poorly weighted.
No.
Who's drawn well? And why would I jump off him? Number 2, Green Gots.
Mate, go get your galleons.
Exactly.
This guy just, it's safe. He's got goblins on his side.
He does.
The Dark Lord's on his side sometimes.
Yep. He's got a dragon hidden away in there somewhere.
Grip hook.
Hermione, no! What I like about this horse is he's a good, tough horse who puts himself up on pace. He can lug weight. So for him, 55.5 kilos.
Levitating. Absolutely
levitating. Fast run race, slowly run race, average run race, any deck. He's not bulletproof, but do you know what you're going to get from Gringotts every single time, pretty much? Fucking run for your money, mate.
Yeah.
He's $6 here at the moment with the good people at Ned's, but I'm quite comfortable having a bet at that price.
Yeah.
He's comfortably my top selection, Gringotts. Particularly with Swift Falcon being a second emergency. If Swift Falcon was in this field, I'd be tossing him up. But no, he's easily my top selection.
I agree with your assessment of the top weights, but I'm an another wheel guy. Not this time. No thanks. Unlucky not to win the All-Star Mile, arguably, but the winner is here. Kitty Cat Tom.
Kitty Cat Tom.
Same level weights as Gringotts. I think he's a different horse this prep. That George Ryder run was sensational.
Yes, mate. Of course he's a different horse this prep.
And Rose Hill's not his track. Randwick's his track.
He's a big horse.
Big testing mile. and I'm waiting to see it in the gear changes. It's still not here. Barrier extension first time. Do I need to get James on the blower?
He's a big horse, Kitty Cat Tom.
I think he'll run super.
I think he will. I think he's going to need a super ride from Benny Mellon from that gate.
Barrier 1.
But
could he save some ground?
He could, Kitty Cat Tom. He could get the militarised run from last year. What did militarised do last year? He
ran third?
Drew gate 3 and ran third, but he was pretty much on the fence the entire time. But he was also lugging 54 kilos for a 3-year-old is a fair bit of weight. Kitty Cat Tom is a 4-year-old. So he's only carrying 1.5 kilos more than what militarised had to do last year. And Kitty Cat Tom's probably twice militarised's size. I think he's a massive winning chance, Kitty Cat Tom. I just love to see that a couple of brothers get to contest this race together.
It's
Pericles is here as well.
It's heartwarming, isn't it? So he drew barrier 2 in the Golden Eagle.
Tom.
Field of 20. So it can be done.
Oh, of course it can be.
And I feel like the bigger... I always have an opinion of these grand finals. They're going to spread and try and get their runs. So I think God's be good. The heavens will open up for Kitty Cat Tom. No idea who this Japanese horse is.
No idea
Zero.
who Geoglyph is, but fucking hell, they've given him the visitor's car park.
Yeah, I know.
Do you know what I love to see? A lot of the Japanese, not a lot of them, but you see a lot more older entires with the Japanese. They're probably just better natured, more what's the word that I'm looking for? More courteous.
Yeah. And then they just decide that they don't want to race anymore.
Well natured.
I.e., Fierce Impact.
Yep.
Yeah. And he was, if you were wondering, one of the great sons of Deep Impact.
One of the greatest stallions of all time.
Yeah. This horse hasn't won for 3 years, so at 27-1, if you're that type of sicko, please.
Of course, he has D Lane on though.
Yeah,
Japanese connection.
of course, mate. I don't think D Lane's going to Sydney for this ride.
No.
Let's put it that way.
Arigato.
Steffi? Where's Steffi at? She won that you'll just never back.
I don't think I ever have.
Yeah.
And I don't think I ever will.
Yeah.
She was so dog shit in the yard first up that... Oh, she was, mate. She wasn't a run behind. She was a year behind. She looked terrible. She looked much better in the George Ryder. But she's one who... She's just always... There's going to be flashing lights. And don't get me wrong, she'll win races. She's a bit like a Komochi. Like, she'll win races, but the strike rate isn't high enough to suggest that I should be betting on her. But she is $16, Drifters. So if you like her, have a bet. But 20 starts, only the 3 wins.
Yeah. I was like, have you done Komochi dirty there? Komochi, 19 starts, 4 wins. But, to be fair, I would take a horse with a 25% winning strike rate.
Oh, yeah, you would. But
Yeah.
but from a betting perspective...
Yeah. I get you. I get you. Some other horses here. What is that? Anisette?
Yep.
The GBR horse?
Yulong import. It's been racing in the States.
Fuck, 6-time Group 1 winner.
Mm-hmm.
What? $81? Okay. Over 1,800 metres and further.
Yep. It's been racing in the States for most of its career. I think it's really come off the boil Anisette, but...
The Susan.
Yeah. Just Yulong just wanting to spend some serious cash. So, yeah, don't know enough about her form. The 10 is a Yulong import as well. She won the Breeders' Cup, which is a big race in the States over turf, over 2,200 metres. She's a Canadian horse. Like, if you want Drifters, like she's 16, like I get it, but it'd be completely speculative. Completely speculative.
Yeah. I agree with that. Like, I just have an opinion, like the Sprinter Milers types, the Europeans especially that have that form over further, I don't think they measure up off the plane here. Zaki was probably one of the best. He debuted here in Australia in a Doncaster at about 150-1. And he ran 4th.
He ran a bottler.
And he won the Hollandale next start.
Yeah.
1 of 4 that he won?
Yeah, I think he won 4. And then he beat him by about 7 or 8 lengths in the Dooming Cup.
We were there.
Yes.
That was one of the best wins I've ever seen.
Yeah.
That and Beer Sustainer probably. And Warmonger.
Yep. Yeah. Seeing some good ones.
There you go.
Yep.
Tell you what, if by some miracle it is a soft 7 or worse, which I seriously doubt, Just Folk is one of the best, like, Group 2, Group 3 style of horses. Absolute swimmer. Just absolutely trucks through it every single time.
He does.
Probably beyond him here, though.
Yep. I'd say so.
Of the lighties, would you prefer to back Firestorm or Linebacker?
I think I'd prefer to back Linebacker. Just because with the lightweight, even though he's drawn a bit sticky, Zach Lloyd, you could probably say he's the best lightweight jockey in Australia now. He'll take him forward, and I just love that in a Doncaster mile, 49 kilos, 3-year-old. Comes off a really nice tough win. But he also can put up a stinker Linebacker, so I don't know if he's consistent, but he's in my numbers Linebacker. I think he's a winning chance. Firestorm closed off with some serious purpose in the Coolmore Classic, but she also only had 51.5 kilos. She drops a little bit of weight here again, so she could be one that's swooping, but Linebacker I'd prefer.
I just hope he doesn't win. Personally.
Oh, it would suck for us. It would suck.
Yeah. Like, we don't get many wrong, but that would be one that we did get wrong.
You've got to get rid of 2 horses in this race. So that's with Falcon can get a run, who do you think are the two that need to go?
Kovalika, because he shouldn't be here, for starters.
I know one.
Who?
Last year's winner. He shouldn't be here. He's done, mate. Did you see him in the George Ryder?
Yeah. Not interested, is
Not
he?
interested at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
Celestial Legend shouldn't be here.
Connections will run him.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Bon Ho.
Yep, absolutely. One we haven't spoken about, who I think's pretty well weighted, Dross Draw, but number 7, Royal Patronage. This has been the grand final the whole time.
Yeah. I think you'll see this horse losing more than he wins. I think he'll set a genuine tempo, though.
Good. I
Which
think
is
there'll be some pace in this race.
Yeah, Tubby Tail would be foaming at the mouth here.
Pace, real pace.
Yeah. Yeah, I just have a bit of a set against him in this sort of setup. Weights, draw, amount of work he's doing, amount of other horses in the race. Yeah, I just don't think they'll translate. Like, I thought he was done. Like, I was on him in the George Ryder, and I thought he was done a long way from home. Got beaten less than a length there. I'm like, definition of we've been lacking some bulldogs.
It's so good to see. Like, and don't want to harp on about it more, but light infantry man, like, there's no way that you see that horse run that well if it wasn't for such a fast run, 2,000 metres. And there's been a few other instances of that. I feel like this autumn where there's been a really fast run race and a horse has gone to a new level that's not possible without a fast run race.
Linebacker.
Yeah.
Probably the most genuine pace he's seen in his career. And
Yeah.
He thrived.
Yeah.
Because of 10 Berry Wells, I reckon.
Yeah. You're right. And there's a few other examples, but like Private Harry, like, that's why I was so keen on him in the TJ, because he was able to absorb a really fast pace up front and then kick away from them. I love to see it. Fast run races. Best athlete.
That's why I'm keen on Kitty Cat Tom to win the race.
Yeah, because I think Tom can run a strong 2,000 metres.
And I think he's running 3 Group 1s this prep. It's pretty good. Yeah, he's running super.
Jeez, I'd love to see him up here for a Doomben Cup.
Oh, now you're talking. Good horses win the Doomben Cup too.
They sure do.
Yeah.
Like Bois d'Argent.
Actually, fuck the Doomben Cup. He's winning the Q22.
Much better race. Should be a Group 1.
That'd be good. All right, let's get to the Australian Derby then. 2,400 metres, as you pointed out to me. Group 1 for the 3-year-olds at set weights. I texted you earlier. I could not believe my eyes. Eliana.
Yeah, this was always the talk for her. Yeah, the general chatter was that she's going to come here.
Yeah, just so un-Waller-like. But we've seen Waller do un-Waller-like things all prep for a few horses.
Waller's been different the last few years.
Last few? Really?
Last 2 or 3, I reckon. He's doing more things that aren't in his typical pattern, I reckon.
My gut feel is for the big dogs, it's copy and paste sort of stuff.
Yeah, fair.
Think it's pretty hard to fuck up a 2-year-old and a 3-year-old prep, really.
Yep.
Early seasons at least. But he's moved the chess pieces around a little bit.
Yep.
This prep in particular, I feel, this autumn.
I think he's just got so many horses that... And ultimately, I don't think it's good for racing how many he has, but hey, we'll talk about it at a different time.
Yeah, slow ones too. Don't worry about that.
Oh, he has plenty of slow ones. Plenty of slow ones. And a lot of his horses, we're talking about fast run races, a lot of his horses do not contribute to that, unfortunately. But Eliana, I'd be fascinated to know how much she actually cost, because being by Castelvecchio, I think out of his first or second crop, he's not a very expensive sire, and I'm wondering, I don't think they would have been really popular at sales because he's not a sprinting type.
Star Witness mare.
Yeah.
Star Witness has some punch behind it, doesn't it?
Yeah, a little bit, but and it's a Star Thoroughbred syndicated filly, so I don't know, but
She's a smarty.
She is a smarty, Eliana. I think she can win this. I you look back at the Rose Hill Guineas, and Gold Rush Guru was leading that race, and he didn't make it a genuine staying contest, which I was hoping he was going to do and sort of catch some napping. So she was sitting off a sedate pace and absolutely launched Aliana. Loses Jay Collette and gets Damian Lane on. Gets a nice draw. If she's sitting any closer, I think that Castelvecchio, Done Deal, Star Witness bloodline will come to the fore, and I think she'll thrive over the 2,400 metres. And I'm looking at the rest of this field, and Willie Dewitt is a pretty smart horse from New Zealand, and absolutely you got to respect him. Gold Rush Guru, I think, was too disappointing in the Rose Hill Guineas to back him here. And who else is in the market?
Well, it's the Tulloch form, really.
Yeah, I'm really keen to take that form on.
Yeah?
With Aliana, absolutely. Because she's nearly beating the best boys of her age group over 16 and 2,000 metres, and I think she's going to enjoy stepping out over 2,400 metres. What price would she be if this was the Oaks and she was against Treasure of the Moment? Same price?
Ish. Yeah.
Treasure of the Moment would be $2, maybe $1.80. Treasure of the Moment was in this race. What price would she be? Same price?
Yeah.
So I'm happy to take the same price for Aliana.
Okay. One of the best runs in the Rosehill Guineas, I thought, was the Mark Zara mount of Plymouth.
Yes.
He was super.
He was good.
And I think he's only really getting wound up around this distance. I think he's going to stretch out. The son of the Autumn Sun.
Jeez, he was a good horse. Really good horse.
With a done deal dam. So, like, if we're talking pedigree,
that's pedigree.
This thing is going to run the distance.
Absolutely.
Barrier 3, Mark Zara is due.
Mark is due. He's been quiet. But
and staying contests, like just a bit of a bully, just like, leave it to me, boys.
He's actually such a good jock of staying trips. Like, think about all his great Oaks wins and Caulfield Cups, Melbourne Cups. Bro knows how to do it. Last horse to talk about is number 4, Chanois.
Yeah.
Been absolutely braining them against mostly inferior company down in Victoria. I think Chanois with Blakey Bill on from that gate will give this race a big shake. Just wondering if you prefer to be with the Sydney form, which I think I would prefer to be.
Probably. So, of those Tulloch runners, it looks like King of Thunder is the most supported at 10-1.
Yep. Yeah, fair enough. Firm agreement.
He just came out of nowhere.
Came out of nowhere.
Like Diglett.
Yeah.
Popped out of the ground.
Like Diglett.
Yeah.
Exactly like Diglett.
Yeah. I think he needs a bit more cutout. Potentially firm agreement.
Potentially.
You were spewing that he wasn't going to a Victoria Derby.
Yep.
Stranger things have happened.
They have. Absolutely. But yeah, I don't know about the Tulloch form. Like I backed the winner of that race, but I don't think he wants much further.
Yeah, pocketing. Yeah, he fell in, didn't he? Plymouth on top for me at 12-1. I'll be putting him in my Group 1 tipping competition.
Double points.
And the last race we'll cover is the PJ Bell Stakes, 1,200 metres Group 3 for the fillies. So it's and penalties. I thought this was tough. Tough.
It is tough. It is tough.
You trusting the daughter or the full sister to Sunlight?
I think she can win. I want to take her on at that price, though. I'm keen to be with number 3, Lilac. Thought she had pretty good form around the Lady Shenandoah and Lady of Camelot types. Gets a bit of weight relief off Clean Energy. Gets a nice gait. She'll be up on pace, so I'm keen to be with Lilac. I think she can win a race like this. What about you?
I think Clean Energy was pretty impressive at Moonee Valley.
She was.
Very impressive. She gets around Sydney. She'll be awfully hard to beat. So, Licky Tongue, potentially. Side Tongue.
That fucking horse. Remember last prep? I think I backed it 3 times in a row. Ran fourth, second, and then it won the start after that.
On Derby Day too. You know, when we're really getting into our work.
I know. Should have
And-
known by then.
Well, our ATG was Matisse,
That's right.
who ran second.
That's right.
At a price too.
Yep.
At a big Mick price.
A really big Mick price.
Knocked us out of the early quarter. It's just like, come on. What are you doing to us? I don't know. I think that's it.
There's a couple in Caulfield, but nothing really to... No, they're gross. Really gross. Actually, one of the triplets is the top weight in the Easter Cup. Golden Mile.
I saw
Down in Melbourne.
I did see that.
60.5 kilos.
He's, yeah. Still looks fat to me. Golden Mile.
12 months is a long time in racing.
It is.
He would have been in a Doncaster, surely.
Probably.
After George Ryder.
Probably. Yeah. You know, he probably would have been leading that field this time last year.
Probably.
0 pace.
No pace. 12 months is a long time in racing. Militarised had been to stud. Shot blank, so now he's back.
Back.
In the Doncaster.
Where his replacement should be there. Celestial Legend. It's all coming together.
Bro's not interested in racing.
Yes.
In the slightest.
In the slightest. All right, we will be back on Sunday to review everything. But, yeah, Group 1 tipping competition. Comms will go out tomorrow on Thursday.
Yep.
Reminder will also go out on Saturday.
Saturday, I'd say.
So, yeah, make sure you get your tips in. It's wide open, I believe.
It's wide open. There's, I think, only 3 points are separating first to like 15th.
Wow.
So this is if you were looking for some juice, this is the weekend.
Yeah.
This is the weekend to look for double points.
Should we say if there's... What do we do if it's like equal by the end of the championships? Do we just keep doing it until there's a winner?
Well, I was thinking that there is the following weekend after day 2 of the championships, which is the Champagne over 1,600 metres for the 2-year-olds and the all-aged, I believe. But I think there's Group 1s like consistently from there. So, yeah, we might need to have a battle in that last weekend, but let's cross that bridge if we need to.
Let's do that. All right. We'll see you on Sunday.
See you, Drifters.